What's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. Uh, this is going to be a video on your network, actually. I was just getting kind of network vibes from this, like, like leaning towards almost contacts, or maybe like a new contact that you might meet. Maybe someone in your circle, or a new circle, possibly. So I'm going to call it network, but it might lean in towards community or social circle, that kind of thing. Not much of an introduction needed for this one. I think it's quite self-explanatory. As always, pile number one, pile number two, and pile number three. Start off with pile number ones. Okay, pile number one's Ready Lost Light, but we'll see how this comes through. It's a very grey day today. Just doing an abstract drawing today. What do you see? What do you feel? I'm gonna actually leave it there. Quite a hard illustration to like unpick in terms of physically, because it's so abstract. But I was actually getting quite a lot of energies. One of the energies I was getting was going upwards. So like if something was here, something shot. You could say like a firework in terms of its energy, and no way as slow as a flower coming up, but it's kind of got that energy of growing up as well, like a flower. I think I know what this is. This is to do with an upgrade in your network. So this is like leveling up energy. The interesting thing is that I don't know, a few of the readings recently, I'm not sure which pile you've been picking, pile number one. There's been these kind of hints towards like the repetition of the matrix type energy. Like how things just loop around, loop around, loop around. And this reminds me of that because it's almost like this, what we're seeing at the front of the camera or the front of this picture, is actually the same thing down here, but it's just at a higher perspective. So it would be like the equivalent of I don't know, this is really not the best example. This is just a brush that I use for my shaver. But let's say, for example, this brush down here was like your first network, and then this is the last network or your highest network, and the picture's just doing this. So they're all the same, but it's like this is just closer to the camera. You could almost say like this is just closer to God. So it feels like a higher vibration, but it's all the same thing. This is really trippy. Sometimes you gotta watch spirituality, like for everyone listening, because I got love for you all. Like seriously, when you go down the rabbit hole of spirituality and this reality, even, I think it's so important to you got to do other things. Like thank God for my passion in architecture, because I think if I went fully into this, I think it's easy. I don't even want to say it's easy to go mad or crazy. I don't even want to put that energy out there for people, but it's just it's it's easy to get ungrounded. Is probably the word. There's so many there's so many kind of like shocker moments in awakening. I think so anyway. You might be listening to this saying, yeah, I can handle awakenings easily, but I think the deeper you go down that rabbit hole of awakening, it's just easy to get ungrounded. So maybe that's the last bit of kind of help or guidance I can give you, Pile Ones, is remember to keep it grounded with something. This might even be teasing us at the idea of anchoring too. This thing is almost like there's an anchor at the bottom and it's continuing. You know, maybe the previous version of ourselves helps us to anchor as well. That might be another gem for you. It's like our previous selves, it's necessary because it helps us to anchor. If we just kind of went to that top level, we'll just be floating around up there, nothing to anchor to. So Pearl number one's beautiful reading. There was a lot of gems in there, or at least two bloody good gems. And I like that anchoring one at the end. It makes complete sense when you think about it. Can you imagine, like, I just had the thought, like, can you imagine, like, the idea of, like, being born and then one day waking up and you was, like, 50, like, literally the next day. Like, Spirit was giving me that, like, imagine being, maybe not born, but, like, born, and then you age like how we do, up until the age of about 10, and then you fall asleep on your 10th birthday, and then you wake up and you're like 50 years old. There's a certain amount of, like, it would be too much on us, wouldn't it? Like, even if we had the brain of a 50-year-old and the body of the 50-year-old, there's too much of a jump of a missed gap there. And Spirit was kind of just giving me that visual. That's what it's a little bit like, this spiritual journey. It's like you have to understand each day that passes between being 10 years old and 50 years old. Otherwise, you crash. Like, the system just crashes. It doesn't work. That was dope, Pearl number ones. Thank you for sharing your energy here on the channel. Thank you for your time. If you liked the video, please do remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next reading. Take care. Pile number twos. Pile number ones just had like a super, I'm not even going to say super deep, but it was super deep. It wasn't necessarily, it was kind of delivered to me quite freshly. So I'm not sure how much sense the reading actually made, but I was like, damn, that is that is something. We'll see what we got for you, part number twos. A little bit of like a trippy energy today. Again, energy of like actually animals. Have you got like a new pet or something? You might have a new pet. I don't know how that's coming through. Part twos. Like, you've got a new pet or something going on with your pet. What do you see? What do you feel? So yeah, for some, I know this is definitely an abstract day today with the pick of cards. But I was getting from this, like, I was just seeing like someone almost like taking their pet out. If it's probably a dog. I'm almost seeing like a field. someone who likes pets or something like that coming through. I just had to kind of ground myself though because the reading's to do with like network, so I don't know how that's involved. The message might be here something along the lines of like pole number twos. You might want to see your network a little bit like a pack. You know how you get different animals and they react differently in groups. You know, like a pack of dogs. Is it a pack of dogs? That sounds weird. And then like a herd of buffalo. I'm probably getting all these terminologies absolutely wrong. Is it a pride of lions? Probably not. A swarm of bees. Like, do you understand? Like, these words are coming through for some reason. you might you might want to think about. I'm definitely getting actually a swarm of bees from this, or even like, is there a flock of something? I'm seeing almost birds now. You know when birds do those patterns in the sky, and they kind of group together and getting that kind of vibe. Or is it with a load of birds? Anyways, maybe just almost pick the animal that you resonate with, pile number twos. This isn't so much on picking one specific type of animal or even insect. It's you picking yours, like almost like what your spirit animal is. What does that look like when it's a group? And then spirit wants you to almost like sculpt or take inspiration from how that animal socializes, interacts with its family, etc. So your lesson is in that. I'm also getting from this almost like two lips here, top lip and a bottom lip, and a top lip and a bottom lip. So there might be something here to do with like a network opening up to do with a romantic connection. Even like a partnership. Like a partnership where it's romantic, but it's a partnership. I'm kind of getting that vibe from it too. So yeah, pile number twos. I guess quite quick readings today. That was the kind of the vibe, the energy I was getting from your reading. I hope there's some value in there. I hope you can use it. If you like the video, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Okay, pile number threes. Abstract today. Brace yourself. This is the only reading where I can actually feel the network. I can actually feel the people. It's the only reading. That was an easy one. Damn. Part number three is you must be the grounded ones out of the three. It's funny, I'm getting the sense here almost like of circuitry though. And isn't it interesting a little bit how this is, at least for me, it's kind of spiraling. So what do you see? What do you feel? Pile number threes. Tap in with yourself first. I get this energy, it's almost like, I know I said that pile threes are the grounded ones here, but I'm almost getting like spiritual circle. I'm getting like the sense here of together we're stronger. Everyone kind of knows their place. almost, yeah, like I'm almost getting athletics. You might be an athlete. If you're not an athlete, it feels like a team is coming together here, but this is very much not like the layout for football. But actually, it kind of is when. Actually, now that I think about it, it kind of is. It's like a little bit off. But I'll give you an example. Like, there's three in defence, four in midfield. You got way too many, so it might be opposite. Anyways, it's not really important how this is laid out, but I was thinking you got your striker here. You could say your wing players, and then like, so, so yeah, it's probably a little bit off with the numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, I think that's like football. I think there's 12 players on a football pitch. For my Americans out there, I'm talking about soccer here. So yeah, you're missing the keeper, the goalkeeper, obviously. I could be wrong. I'm not really into football like I used to be. I'm very close to if anyone knows like English football. Actually, I'm not even going to give that information unnecessarily, but um, yeah, I grew up enjoying football basically. So damn, that's crazy how that turned out. 12 there's 12 people here. Damn, you could be like football players or something watching this. That's insane. So I was getting like wing players, and then that's obviously like your striker, and then they call it, I think, centre forward. That would be the centre forward. So three defenders, four midfield players. You could say like left and right wing, centre forward, and striker. Or you could kind of jumble that up to however you want. You could almost say like three strikers and a centre forward. Which, like, I'm just kind of playing around here. One thing that I would say actually is that because we are missing the keeper, the goalkeeper, depending on how you view this, you could flip it around, right? You could say that this is the keeper and then we're missing the striker. But you might actually, I think that might be a key for you, poll number threes. Like, are you the goalkeeper? Are you like the person stopping the goals from going in the net? Is that where you sit? Or are you the striker? Are you scoring the goals? It's a beautiful analogy here of because this was about network. So this one was so clear about team. You've really got a clear analogy here of team and teamwork. If you're not like athletes and you don't relate to this in that type of way, poll number three is this is very much team setup. So let's say, for example, you're CEO, or you might not even be the keeper, you might be the manager. How do all of these players fit? It's almost that energy of creating your all-star lineup. That's crazy. I'm thinking for people in business as well, this could resonate with you. I'm not sure if anyone can relate to this, but actually I found in business it's quite hard to find the right people. And in reality, at least for me, on my journey, it hasn't really happened this way where I've hired a bunch of people. It's more like one by one hiring and building. So in reality, it's like, in business at least, for me, I'm not saying that people don't go out there and hire 12 players at one time. I use the word buy there, by the way, just so you don't think I'm slave labouring people, because you do buy players in football, as as fucked up as that sounds, you do buy players, teams, or coaches, or not even coaches, but managers, or the club buys players. I was just moving on there to say that, at least for me in my business, it's been a kind of a step-by-step process of finding people, finding staff. And the reality of that would be like, actually, I wouldn't even have the 12 people to have a club yet. Do you understand? So in reality, like, how can you how can you play football when you've only found, let's say, 7 players? you can't you can't even play you can't even play in the lower leagues, let alone the Premiership. Like, you ain't ready. That's humbling, actually. Maybe spirit humbling me. That's funny. It's kind of true though when you think about it. I don't know why spirit just bitch slapped me like that, but I'm not denying it. It's true. Like, there's certain teams out there who are 50 strong as well. It's like, you're not ready for that kind of battle when you're up against an office with 50 people. And you're not in the same league when someone's got 1,000 staff. There's truth to this. It's a bit like war as well. For any of my Aries out there, you can get it. It's like when the rival has got like 1,000,000 soldiers, and you got your Spartan 300. It's like that shit. Even with the 6-packs and the spears and shit, that story don't end well. You can have all the courage in the world, but when you got like 1,000,000 Persians, like wait for that war. I'm not saying that the whole kind of Spartan story ain't cool, and I think the moral of that story as well wasn't that they weren't solid and they couldn't take on the Persians. It's that they actually had a snake in their team. They were betrayed, weren't they? So if it weren't for that betrayal, there's the possibility, I should say, that they could have maybe won that battle. I might have to watch that movie again. I used to enjoy that one. But yeah, I think Pulp 3, all of these, like, jokes aside, I think all these analogies speak to what you're going through. There's some form of forming the team, and sometimes this has appeared almost like forming the Avengers or the Justice League in other readings, which I enjoyed. This kind of embraces that energy more. But I could be wrong, but I think the Avengers is about 6. This is 12. Well, I think 11. I counted here. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So possibly growth here from your previous message, if that was your pal from the past. I've kind of mentioned that in a few piles, like, it's almost like the Avengers assembling here. This is actually that squad getting bigger now. So it's really quite interesting to see how these readings play out sometimes as well, because it's like a revisiting of the energy. Sometimes the energy doesn't even move too much. I'm not sure if you've noticed, Pile 3, it's like there's actually quite a lot of repetition in some of these readings, but it's because you're possibly working through something. There is 100% definitely someone out there who really resonates with my message of like keeping your spiritual side separate from your professional life, because that, you know, that kind of comes through sometimes, and I just feel like that message is really striking someone. um I personally don't, I don't really care about it, but I can feel the energy of someone being able to relate to that. So Spirit asked me to kind of talk about it. um and I think the stories kind of almost even linked here is that I'll end it with this pile three, that there's a thread, and I'm starting to realize these readings really kind of very much connect sometimes. Energies kind of stay in a particular area, and it's like we're working through that, we're working through it, and it's a bit repetitive, but it's because we're still working through it. And here, like my parting advice to you would be, is like, just like when I'm talking about having a nice separation between, maybe let's say for example, your spiritual brand and your professional brand. um, it's important to not listen to people when spirit is giving you a strong message, right? Some people struggle with that. Some people struggle with that noise in their ear from someone, and they're able to be swayed from that. We're not talking about having a large ego here and not listening to people. We're not talking about that. We're talking about almost like the devil's whisper. You know, they say that the devil normally shouts and God normally whispers, but the devil's also smart. So the devil can whisper sometimes. It might still sound like a shout because he hasn't mastered it, but he can be deceiving. So sometimes someone is whispering something that isn't for your good. And I feel like you're going to be tested, pile number three is here, because you've got more of those opinions now on your team. This is almost like a leadership pile too as well. It's like you have to be solid in what your decisions are, because before it was, you know, a few whispers of the devil here and there, but now the option is that it's now the possibility, I should say, that the devil can work through your own team as well. So you're going to have to use your own discernment. So that's definitely like a very specific message for someone out there. If it's not your team, it could just be your friendships, or it could be a strengthening of your family relationships or something like that. Apply that how it seems fit. But, you know, I think the wisdom there is still the same. You know, you're going to be tested with, maybe there's a few people on your team saying, oh, and maybe you should bring those two things together. And it might not be spirituality in your profession. It might be uh, you should work with your brother or your sister. And your soul is saying this is a bad idea. But, you know, you've got someone on your team saying, oh, you know, you and your sister, you would really make a good business. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that's how the devil works that way. Now, you might be a really good collaborator with your siblings. I'm not trying to say that it's not for you. But listen to your own intuition. Listen to your own soul. And if that's saying, nah, that ain't the one, and you got this person smiling at you saying, hey, you know what would be a good idea? You and your partner to do that business together. Or, you know, like, and it's just not resonating with you. You know, you should really merge together. Um, you know, like, there's so many ways that this advice could end really badly for you. You know, it's like, oh yeah, you know, you should sell that house, and you've got more than one property, you should sell that other one. It's like, it's that kind of thing. It's that kind of thing. It's like spirit is telling you the opposite thing, and then there's someone saying you do that thing. So again, just to finalize this, pole number 3 is, this isn't ignoring good advice from people you love that resonate with you, nor is this ignoring those little earthly angels that God sends to us sometimes to give us some solid advice or push us in the same direction. We're talking quite obviously here about the opposite, and I'm just trying to give you that pointer of sometimes how that comes. It comes softly sometimes, it does come softly. Like, see it almost like the villain in the movie. Sometimes they use like a cunning manipulation to trick the good guy. It's not always like the psychopath, like the Joker. Sometimes the villain plays soft in order to get you on board and kind of laugh at your downfall. sorry part 3 is, I've just got to be real with it. Like, sometimes that's how it goes, and that's how life goes sometimes too. Sometimes the villain sets you up so they can watch with popcorn and watch it play out. So try your best to meander and avoid that. Pile 3s, it was an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the reading today. If you did, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.